Well, hello. Welcome, everybody. So glad to have everyone with us today. And we're going to jump into our special edition seller session. Specifically, we're breaking this one into two parts. Specifically, not only what we're doing at the listing appointment to take more listings, but most importantly, how do we get them sold? How do we have that tough pricing conversation with the seller? So before we jump in, I got a couple housekeeping things to cover with you. And while I can see um, you're all dropping where you're from, I love seeing that. So let's go ahead and keep that going because I want to see where everyone's joining us from today. City, state, province. If this is your first session with us, make sure you let us know that you're a first timer and change your comments to everyone so everyone can see, not just hosts and panelists. It's great seeing. All right, thanks for waking up with us, Portland, Oregon, in the morning. All right, Phoenix, same thing. Toronto, just across the pond there. All right, Indiana, thank you, thank you. San Diego, Southern California, love it. St. Louis, there we go. Ohio, of course. Charlotte in the house. Great to see everyone joining us on this beautiful Tuesday. We've got two things, as I mentioned, we're covering today. Specifically, some listing strategies at the table, as well as some pricing and price reduction strategies, all designed to not only just help you get a listing, but help you get listings at the right price. Because here's what I know, listings are won and lost at the table based on how well you present price. And you can look at every aspect of the listing appointment today. They are won and lost based on how well you present price. So I can't wait to jump in. First things first, especially for our first timers, I want to make sure we get some free resources out of the way. We've got a couple of resources that I want to share, but really the most important one that we're hearing is giving the highest value is our daily message. So if you're not currently subscribing to the daily message, I'll briefly tell you what it is for those of you that are joining us for your first time. Every day, every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday, with the exception of a holiday or something like that. If we have a conference, that's another thing too. I'm writing a message specifically designed to help you list and sell more homes. All right. Sometimes it's I went on an appointment last night. Here's what the seller said to me. Here's how I handled it. Other times it's here's what we changed in our social media posts or videos, and we got more engagement. Sometimes it's, hey, we had an event 2 weeks ago. Here's what I shared from the main stage. Anyways, it's a completely free resource for you to take advantage of. We have brokerages and team owners that tell us that they use this resource as part of their sales training. So I would encourage you to take advantage of this. So here's how you get your hands on it if you don't already have it. Take out your cell phones, open up your text message, and you're going to send the message morning to 55444. Send the message morning to 55444. Just like that. It's going to ask you your first name, your last name, your email. You'll be signed up. All right. Take advantage of that. That's a huge resource every day, a great message to help you list and sell more homes. The second resource, if you don't already have it in your phone, you're going to want to have it, and that is the Glover U app. We're probably uploading a new resource to that app every 4-6 weeks. In fact, in that app, you have more free resources in there than things we even charge for. So take advantage of all of those tools. Things like buying power checklists, how to get 2 sales for every listing you take. Anyways, get your hands on the Glover U app. If you don't have it already, just search Glover U in your app store. And the third and final resource that I want to share with you today is the second half business plan that we released at the Live Unreal retreat just a couple weeks back. So if you don't have your hands on that yet, go ahead and write down gloveru.com/halftime. That's gloveru.com/halftime. That is a free second half plan, the same one that I'm using in my business, which for those of you that aren't familiar, my first timers, you might wonder, why should I pay attention to what this guy has to say? Well, watch this. I'm still in the trenches with you. In fact, in the last decade, I've personally averaged over 100 transactions a year myself. The majority of those listings taken. A bad month for me on listings taken is maybe 5 or 6 listings. A good month is 7 to 10. So I'm sharing exactly what I'm doing in the trenches, not 2 years ago, not 10 years ago, not 2 months ago. What I'm doing exactly right now. And that's a lot of what we're going to cover in today's session. So I'm so glad you're with us and hope you had a chance to jot those free resources down and you're going to take advantage of them. So a couple things. In this particular session, we're going to break it into 2 parts. Part 1 is some things that I want you to keep in mind for what's important at the listing table today. Yesterday, we covered sources. And if you didn't get a chance to watch that, go back and do so. We covered our top 5 listing sources. You can just go back to gloveru.com/webinar. You can watch the replay for free. Watch that one after this session if you didn't get a chance to watch yesterday's. Once you get the appointment set, now what does it look like to go from appointment set to sellable listing? All right, so we're going to talk about that process. And I wrote down in front of me in my notes, there's 6 steps to a great listing appointment. In fact, one more thing, they just dropped the workbook in the chat. Take advantage of that because although I only gave you 2 or 3 free resources, there's a bunch of other ones in there. All right, so take advantage of that workbook. They just dropped that one in the chat, and there's tons of free resources in there. All right, so there's 6 steps to a great listing appointment. We're going to start there, and then we're going to get into the pricing discussion because, quite honestly, anyone can take a listing, but only a really skilled, strong listing agent can take a sellable one. So let's talk 6 steps. Number 1, step 1, the content that you share with the seller. So just write that down, the content that you share with the seller. So what do we include as part of that content? So there's 6 steps to a great listing appointment. Step 1 is the content that you share with the seller. The content, what you say, what you share at the table, your materials. Okay, so there's some subcategories in this. Under the content that you share with the seller, I want you to write down content that communicates your value, specifically your unique value. That's the difference between you and everyone else. You have a unique value. Now watch this. Somebody says to me, well, Jeff, I kind of do the same things as the next guy or gal. Well, watch. The person who gets the credit for what they do is the one who talks about it and promotes it the most. So have you put together something unique to your specific value? Just to give you, for instance, when I first started in the business, 18 years old, 19 years old, my unique value was that I was going to work harder than everybody else. Everyone's got a unique value. Find it, document it, promote it. All right, that's 1A. 1B is your marketing plan of action. Again, we're talking content as part of the listing appointment, your marketing plan of action. And my question to you on this one is, when is the last time you've updated your listing plan of action? Are you still going on appointments and talking to the seller about how you use social media to sell their home? Or are you going on appointments and giving them specifics of what you do on social media to sell their home? How you're going to create a reel for them and you're going to add them as a collaborator. And by doing so, it's going to show up onto their feed. And if it shows up on their feed, it's going to get more eyeballs on their stuff. It's probably time to update your marketing plan of action if you haven't already yet. That's 1B. 1C is your pricing strategy. Your pricing strategy. So here's what I say to this right now. Pricing is more important than it's been in a while. As you guys know, in most markets across the country, we're seeing flat prices or even declining prices. Obviously, we're still seeing some price points in multiple offers. So when you think of your actual pricing strategy, what are you presenting to the seller? By the way, it should not be complicated. If you're presenting them a big, thick book, a big CMA, you're giving them a built-in objection. You're giving them a reason to say, thank you for sending this to me. I'm going to review it and get back to you. No, I can't have that. I need 2 to 3 actives, 1 or 2 pendings, and 2 or 3 solds. That's it. 2 to 3 actives, 1 or 2 pendings, 2 to 3 solds. Keep it simple, salesperson. The simpler your CMA, the more likely they are to make a decision on the spot with you. The more robust and fancy your actual market analysis is, the more likely they're going to say, thank you for this. Give us the weekend to give this some thought. Letter C is your pricing strategy. Letter D, your visuals. Your visuals. What you actually take out and present. What you actually bring to the table with you. And I want you to write this thought down under visuals. Does my marketing material say to the seller that I'm the most qualified for the job? Does my marketing material say to the seller that I'm the most qualified for the job? If you're going out on appointments with loose leaf papers in a folder, what is that telling them about your ability to market their most valuable asset? You have to have world-class visuals today. You're competing with the best of the best. That's letter D. Letter E is proof. Proof of performance. Other sellers who have had great experiences with you. Are you bringing that to the appointment? Are you sending that in a pre-appointment package? Are you getting that in their hands before they meet with you? So that way, when they do sit down with you, they're already sold on what you have to say. Proof of performance. And if you're new or newer to the business, proof of your team's performance or proof of your broker's performance. Letter F is you. YOU. That's right. How you show up matters. You are representing their most valuable asset. Like it or not, they are judging you. From the moment they look you up on social media, because that's when it starts, to the moment you're shaking their hand at that front door, you're giving them an impression of your ability to market their home. What impression are you giving them? What is the way you carry yourself, your social media, your web presence? What does that say to the seller about your ability to market their home? That's all number one under 6 steps. Number 2, in order to improve the amount of, or increase the amount of listings you take and increase the likelihood of them actually selling, I'm going to suggest that you follow my rule of 5 touches for every listing appointment you set. 5 touches for every listing appointment you set. Number 1, a text message after the appointment is set. So after you set the appointment, you're going to send them a text message that says that you look forward to going to work for them. Plant the seed right then and there. A text message immediately after the appointment is set that you thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to going to work for you. Plant the seed that you're going to be their agent. That's the first touch. The second touch is a pre-qualifying call. A pre-qualifying call. Yes, a series of questions that you're going to ask the seller prior to meeting with them. You have access to our pre-qualifying script in the GloverU app. If you haven't downloaded it yet, go get it. And I want you to follow that script as it's written every single time before you go out on a listing appointment. It's not only going to improve your rapport, it's going to plant a lot of seeds for the seller to want to list with you when you get there. That's number 2, the second touch. The third touch, a pre-appointment package. A pre-appointment package. We'll talk about that one in just a little bit. But number 3 is a pre-appointment package. A physical pre-appointment package showing up at their door. Email does not work. Nope, I don't want digital. I want a physical package showing up at their door. We're taking 75 to 85 listings per month right now using this formula. I suggest you follow it. Number 4, a video message explaining what's going to happen on the appointment. A video message explaining this, the 4th touch. A video message explaining what's going to happen on the appointment. So this can be a selfie video. This can be a recorded one that you emailed to them. I prefer a casual selfie video. And you're going to say 3 things. You're going to say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're going to hold your phone up. You're going to use their names. Make sure you personalize it to them. You either use their name or use their street name. And you're going to say there's 3 things that are going to happen when I come out. Number 1, I'm going to give you some suggestions of things you can do to improve your home's value. Number 2, I'm going to share with you a market analysis so you know exactly what it's going to take to get your home sold in terms of price. And number 3, if everything makes sense, I'll have all the paperwork there ready to get started. This is all prior to getting there. Video message is number 4. And number 5, finally, is a call the morning of. Hey, been working so hard on getting ready for our appointment. I'm so looking forward to seeing you folks tonight at 4:30, 5 o'clock, whatever your appointment is. Just a simple call the morning prior to the appointment. By the way, if they didn't respond to your pre-qualifying call the next day after the appointment was set, then I might use this morning call for that. But no matter what, day of the appointment, the morning of the appointment, I'm calling them and letting them know I'm looking forward to meeting with them today. Those 5 touches have to take place prior to you getting there if you want to improve your listing take-in ratio. So you might say, well, Jeff, that's a lot of touches. You know, what if I set a same day or a next day? You shouldn't be. Our rule of thumb is to set appointments no less than 3 days out, no more than 5. That's a sweet spot. 3 to 5 days out, because in 3 to 5 days, I can get these 5 touches in. All right, that's number 2. Number 3, practice. All right, we're talking 6 steps to taking more listings as it relates to the actual listing process itself. Step 3 is practice. All right, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this one. I know a lot of you are planning on joining me for Listing Mastery. You better believe every week We're going to be practicing together. You better believe every week there's going to be an assignment that involves practice. Because here's what I know at the end of the day. There's two types of agents that are taking a lot of listings in the market. Those that have been around for a long time and those that are highly skilled and highly practiced. So if you haven't been around for a long time and you're not taking a lot of listings in your market, then you're either going to have to sit and wait until you've been around for a long time, or you have to be highly skilled and highly practiced. So what does highly practiced mean in my mind? Well, I'll share with you my formula. When I first got into the business, I was fortunate enough to have a broker that saw the potential in me. He said, Jeff, if you want to focus on sellers, you're going to write, chant, and role play every day for 90 days. I wrote out the entire listing script once a day for 30 days. I then chanted it once a day for 30 days. I then role played it once a day for 30 days. 90 days of practicing it. And oh, by the way, even when I was selling over 100 homes per year, okay, my first year selling over 100 was 2008. 7 years in a row, I still had a role play partner every single year. And guess what we role played? We role played the listing appointment, listing objections, price reduction objections, things that we would get on a listing appointment. Practice is, without question, the most overlooked step, in my opinion. Number 4, delivery. Delivery. You want to take more listings that actually sell? Get good at your delivery. What do I mean by delivery? What I mean by delivery is making the appointment all about them. You know, there's 4 different personality styles: the high D, the high I, the high S, the high C. You understand I have 4 different listing appointments. If you were to follow me on 4 different appointments, each of those 4 would look completely different. Why is that? Well, because I have a style for the high D, I have a style for the high I have a style for the high S, I have a style for the high C. So what is the lesson here in number 6? Make sure you're paying attention to the following characteristics in your communication style. Ready? So we'll just call this 4A. I want you to pay attention to your rate of speech. Let's just say for a minute, you don't know the disc. You don't know what the difference is between a high D or a high C. Fine. Set that aside for a second. Here's something you can pick up on, and that is their rate of speech. If they're talking fast, you talk faster. If they're talking slow, you slow down your rate of speech. Match and mirror their rate of speech. Think of words per minute. I also want you to match and mirror their tonality. So we'll call this 4B. Match and mirror their tonality. So what do I mean by that? Well, if the seller's kind of monotone, then you're going to have to be a little monotone. If the seller has high highs, low low, right? If they're kind of like this, then you're going to have to be a little extreme in your tone. These are things that you can pick up on quickly, and you absolutely can consciously adjust if you practice enough. That's why when I have role play partners, I make sure I'm picking role play partners of different communication styles. I'm making sure that I'm having a different communication style that I role play with every single day. So that way I'm not role playing with people just like me. Because if I role play with people just like me, I'm never going to get good at converting people that are not like me. That's tonality. Next is volume. Volume is how loud you talk or how soft you talk. Volume, think decibel level. You can absolutely match someone's volume. That's 4C. And then finally 4D is body language. Body language. Body language would mean matching their movements, all right? If they're kind of calm and reserved, you're calm and reserved. If they're kind of kick back, you're kick back. If they're leaning in, you're leaning in. Match their body language. Delivery is critical. Because why? Because people do business with people they feel good about. And they're going to feel much better about you if you match these 4 things under delivery. Again, 75 to 85 listings per month. These are the little difference makers. In fact, being a great listing agent is just a matter of getting good at all the tiny little, it's probably dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of tiny little details all added together. Number 5 in the 6 steps is the pre-qual. The pre-qual. That's a series of questions that you ask the seller prior to going out. My favorite question at the beginning, if what I say makes sense and you feel 100% comfortable and confident. That script has been around for decades. Get your hands on our pre-qualifying script. We've updated it. People say to us all the time, Jeff, it seems like your scripts get updated every 18 to 24 months. Why is that? Because we're in the trenches with you and we know what's changing in the industry. I hope you're not still using a script from 10 years ago written by somebody that's never sold real estate. And then finally, number 6 under the 6 steps, and then we're going to transition into the pricing discussion because it's a critical one right now. Even if your market isn't soft yet, okay, there's indications, we see this all the time. What happens in Florida, what happens in California, what happens in Texas as it relates to home values usually ends up happening nationwide. So if you're thinking, you're sitting pretty, you're sitting fat and happy in Cleveland or in Detroit or in New York or in Chicago, what are you talking about, Jeff? Things are great in my market. The Midwest, by the way, has been affected the least. Okay, it's coming. That doesn't mean we're just going to stay different than everyone else. What happens in Florida, Texas, California, in most cases, ends up happening in the entire country over time. So number 6 is the pre-appointment package. And the pre-appointment package is what you send to them in advance, that physical pre-appointment package. What do I want in the pre-appointment package? I want a copy of your reviews. What else do I want in the pre-appointment package? I want a copy of your plan of action. This is a physical package that goes out prior to you going on the appointment. A copy of your reviews, a copy of your plan of action. Your market analysis. That's right. I want them to physically get the market analysis in advance. Because why? If they see the comps in advance, when I show up, they're more likely to accept my price. If they see the comps for the first time, when I'm there for the listing appointment, they're going to say things like, we're going to need some time to think about this. We're going to need some time to give this some thought. This is a little lower than this is a little sticker shock for us. It wouldn't be sticker shock if it's the second time they're seeing it. Send them the comps. We send them a what happens next book, which in a nutshell has everything that's going to happen from the time we take the listing to the closing table. We send them proof, what consumers have said of their experience in working with us, reviews. We send them a blank copy of the seller's disclosure statements, so that way they can hopefully fill those out in advance. And then, of course, there's a cover letter, which explains what's going to happen on the appointment. Jeff, what does the cover letter say? The cover letter says the 3 things that I said in that video. Notice how this all ties together. The difference between the average listing agents and the greats go all in on every little detail. Much of those I'm, of course, sharing with you now. For those of you that are going to be taking the Listing Mastery course, we do a deep dive into that. We actually build a pre-appointment package together. And I know a lot of you have maybe already taken it or are planning on taking it. So the good news is, if you already have a pre-appointment package, we're going to be rebuilding it. I'm going to actually give you specifics because you're going to get physical copies of all our materials. That's one of the benefits of being in our group programs. So what I want to do now is I want to shift gears and I want to talk price. Specifically, I'm going to dissect a video of me getting a price reduction live on stage. Now, it was a mock price reduction, but they were sellers who are also in production who know exactly what sellers say when we go to get a price reduction. And the reason why I'm going to do this is because, first of all, we have not shared this video publicly yet. So you guys are the first ones to see this outside of me demonstrating this live at the retreat. My hope is that you're going to take notes on this, not only for your next listing appointment, because you're going to pick up some really solid lines in there to use on your next listing appointment, but also for your listing that isn't selling. Because I know if you're taking listings, every one of you, I don't care what market you're in, has a listing that isn't selling if you're taking listings right now. So I'm going to pull up my screen here in just a second. Let me do the share screen. Okay. There we go. Share. Okay, now let me just make sure you can see my screen, but I'm going to go back because I want to make sure I clicked share audio. Sometimes I forget to do that, so let me make sure I do. Share sound, there we go. Optimize for video sharing, there we go. Bingo. Okay, everyone should be able to see my screen. Let me blow this up here. And I'm going to stop it and start it at certain points because there are lines that I say in this presentation that you can use right now. Do you know how many people have reached out to us after the retreat or even during the retreat and said, Jeff, I took some of what you said during that demonstration on stage and had a call with my seller the next day and got a reduction. So I want you to pay close attention to this. Take as much notes as possible. Like I mentioned, I'll stop it and start it at a few points, but you're also going to get the recording of it. And then at the end, I've got a few more things to share. So let's jump in. So in a moment, I'm going to do a live price reduction call, even though we're going to be up here on stage. The reason why we're separated is because when you're role-playing a phone script, you should never be facing each other. You either should, if you're in the same room, you should be back to back. Or if it's a phone script, you just pick up the phone and call somebody. So we won't be making eye contact because I wouldn't be able to see their emotion. I wouldn't be able to see their eye contact, their facial expressions if I was on the phone. So we're going to be facing forward, but act as if I've got a phone in my hand talking to them. While I go through the pricing reduction presentation, there's going to be several dialogues that I'm spitting, if you will. And when we're done, I will go back and make sure to point them out in case you miss them because I went too fast. I'm going to have time to go through and point a few of what I would consider the most important ones out. So right now, if you want to obviously get yourself to a clean sheet of paper because you're going to want to write as fast as you can as I'm going through this presentation. And as I said at the end, I'll point out and I'll repeat the things that I thought were most important. While you're doing that, please join me in welcoming to the stage Coach Lee Rosa and Jackie Bowman. Come on out, you guys. Welcome. Right there. All right, you guys ready to be those sellers?
Oh, we're ready.
Absolutely.
Okay. I got a feeling these two are not going to make it easy on me. So really, just to set the tone here, all they know is what they have notes of essentially what we're listed at, where they're moving to, a little bit about their motivation. Well, you're going to hear a little bit about their motivation. Actually, I didn't give you guys a motivation. I'm sorry, I forgot that. But just share with me, and then I'll dig deeper on that. I mean, I know where you're moving to, but I want you to understand that this is as real as it gets. When I've got a listing that's been sitting on the market, usually about 10 days is when I make the first call to suggest that they adjust their price. And so I'm going to have my laptop up in front of me because you never make a price reduction call anywhere other than sitting at a desk with your MLS up in front of you.
So critical.
The reason for that is because oftentimes a seller will bring up, well, what about this house? Or what about this house? Or what about that? And you're dead in the water if you don't know about that listing or whatever it is they're talking about. So I always have the MLS up in front of me with the most recent activity. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. So, ring, ring. Hello. Hi, Lee.
That's me.
Hey, Lee, it's Jeff Glover. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Jeff?
Real good. Well, hey, listen, I'm reaching out to you because as I promised you at the table about a week and a half or so ago when we first met, that I would be calling you and giving you a market update of what's taking place in the market and what we need to do moving forward. Is that fair?
Yeah. Can you hold on a second? Can I bring Jackie on over?
Yeah. Yep. I'm sorry. I was assuming she was right there with you. So yeah, please do so.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm here.
Hey, Jackie. How you doing?
Good.
All right. Good. So we're both on speaker. By the way, thank you for doing that, Lee, because I always want to do this with both parties present if possible. Okay. So Jackie, Lee, as you guys know, we've been out there for 10 days. We've had 6 showings. No offers yet, but 6 showings is pretty good. We've been listed out there at $425, which was the price we picked at the time of listing. Mm-hmm. So far, as you know, you've been seeing the feedback coming in. A lot of people are not in love with the size of the lot, which I know there's not a lot we can do to change the size of the lot, but I do have some ideas to help them, fall more in love and maybe accept a smaller lot. And I wanted to refresh your memory. When we met at that home, you might remember I shared with you there's one of 3 things that will happen when we list your home. Do you remember that?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. It was on the way out. I mentioned to you that after we're on the market for about 7 to 10 days, we'll have a pretty good idea of what the home is worth and how buyers are going to respond to the price. Remember I said one of 3 things could happen?
We're listening.
Yeah, okay, good. I'll refresh your memory on those. So one thing could happen is we could get a lot of interest and a lot of offers, and that means we did everything right. Unfortunately, we're not in that position right now, but that was one potential outcome, and that didn't happen. The second potential outcome that we talked about 10 days ago was that we could get some interest, a handful of showings, but maybe a lowball offer or no offers at all. And that's where I kind of believe we are right now. And then the third option was we get little to no interest and certainly no offers, and that means we definitely started too high. So the good news is we're not in that boat because we have 6 people that wanted to see your house. And from what I'm seeing, if 6 people are coming through, they're giving us that feedback, and they're not making an offer, then what they're telling us, Jackie and Lee, is that it's not valuable enough to them to do so. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, it's been 10 days. So I think 6 showings is really, really good for our market for 10 days.
When we would leave, they were a lot of high energy. I mean, I mean, is none of them want to write an offer?
Yeah. At this point, none of the 6 buyers are writing an offer right now. There are a few things that we can do to maybe trigger that. Are you open to that conversation?
Well, before we go there, did you follow up with the agents? Did you ask them, like, other than the yard? I mean, was there any other feedback? Or
without question. Yep. Every single agent has been contacted. We've asked them for their feedback, which we've shared with you, and I have some suggestions of what I think it can take to either get 1 or 2 of those buyers to come back and or find us a new buyer altogether. Are you open to that conversation?
I mean, yeah. I mean, our goal is to get down to South Florida, so we're all ears.
Yep. All right. So based on what I'm seeing so far, and you guys know I study homes and prices every day, and we had the conversation, prices are fluid. Based on what I'm seeing so far, in order to get one of those 6 buyers to come back or perhaps attract a new buyer, I really think we need to get down to that $400,000 price point. Now, I know that's $25,000 less than we're at right now, and I know this sounds backwards, but you actually have a better chance of getting 4.25 for your home by pricing it at $400,000 than you do keeping it at $425,000. So let me ask you a question. Would you be open to adjusting the... I know this sounds backwards. Write this down. I know this sounds backwards, but you have a better chance of getting blank for your home by pricing it at blank than you do pricing it at blank. I know this sounds backwards, but you actually have a better chance of getting blank for your home by pricing it at blank than you do pricing it at blank. The price to 400 so we can make the listing more attractive to not only these 6 buyers, but to the other buyers that are out there that don't know your home is for sale yet?
I don't know.
Jeff, we just can't do that.
I'm sorry?
We can't do 400.
I mean, we've invested a ton in this house, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I think the good news is you guys have definitely got it very ready for sale. The feedback about the actual house itself has been great, other than people think that the lot is too small. And what happens after about 10 days of being on the market is the market tells us what the home is actually worth. And they tell us that with an offer or without an offer. And what the buyers are essentially saying is if 6 of these buyers came and looked at the home and they're not willing to write an offer on it, then they're telling us it's priced too high. So unless you want to become a stale listing, I'm going to suggest that we get this adjusted sooner rather than later.
And what number was that again?
I'm suggesting we go to 400,000. And can I explain why?
I mean, sure.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm suggesting 400,000 because when I look at... By the way, I want you to pay attention to how firm and how direct and strong I'm being with the seller. Sellers want a strong listing agent. You're handling their most valuable asset. So they want you to be direct with them. They want you to be honest with them. They want you to take control. So notice that I maintain control the entire time, and it's really hard for me to ever give in. You don't really see me giving in to a request of theirs because I know it's not truly in the best interest of them. The most popular searched price range in your area here in Northville, it's between 300 and 400,000, which means if we're $1 over 400,000, if we're 401, we won't even show up in their search. And so my fear is we're just outside of that most popular searched price point, and most of the buyers looking to buy in Northville don't even know your home's for sale. So if we can get it to 400,000, we actually have a decent chance of still getting you a number with a 4 in front of it. Because what we know is buyers will buy and make offers based on value. And if they haven't made an offer yet, then they're telling us that the value of the property does not match the price we're asking. Does that make sense?
It does.
I mean, I hear...
If they haven't made an offer yet, what they're telling us, the value doesn't match the price we're asking. So you hear this all the time. Well, they can just make an offer. Well, if they haven't made an offer yet, what they're indirectly telling us is the value of your home doesn't actually match the price that we're asking. Write that one down.
Hear what you're saying, and I know when we talked at the listing, we were wanting to price at 450, and now you're saying, you know, you want to put us in the category of between 300 and 400,000, and our house in Northville is just not in that 300 to 400,000 range. It's in the over 400 range. So that's why I'm confused at why we're trying to go into a lower bracket.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons is because if we have a deficit, in this case, we're one of the smallest lots in the neighborhood. The way you overcome that deficit is by making the price more attractive. So what we need to have happen is we need a buyer who's looking between 300 and 400,000 to say, wow, I cannot believe this price. I cannot believe this place is priced at 400,000. I'm going to go after that house, and I'm going to even give them more than asking. Because what's happening right now is the buyers that are looking at your home at 4.25, they're also looking at homes at 450, 475, 499.9, up to 500. And once you get up to 450 or 475, you're looking at walkout basements. You're looking at full kitchens in the backyard. We just can't compete with those homes. And right now, we are competing with those properties. We need to compete with the lower price properties, not the higher price properties. Does that make sense?
It does, Jeff. I hear you, but I mean, Jackie and I talked, and we want no less than 415.
Yeah.
I mean, when we looked at the sheet that you left with us when we took the listing, and we were just doing the math after a couple days, 415 is kind of where we feel is the lowest that we can go.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. When you go, I know you're moving to South Florida, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you move to South Florida, when you go shop for homes, because you don't have a place down there yet, right?
Correct.
When you go to South Florida and you shop for homes, if you make an offer on a property, are you going to make an offer on a property based on what the seller feels like they need or what the home is actually worth?
I mean, obviously what the home is worth. I mean, if someone's asking 500 for something that's worth 4.
So just to paraphrase that, if you want to write that down, when you go to shop, will you be making an offer on that home based on what the seller needs or what the home is worth? What you're doing is you're helping them understand that this has nothing to do with what they need out of the home. This has nothing to do with what they put into the home. This has everything to do with the market value. When you go to make an offer on a home, you're not going to be making the offer based on what the seller needs. You're going to make the offer based on the market value. And when they say, well, of course, the market value, then you would respond with, and don't you think that most buyers are going to feel the same? Put them in the shoes of the buyer. But when they become buyers, ask them how they're going to behave.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
we're not going to offer them 5.
I mean, absolutely. I mean,
And then, so with that said, don't you think that most buyers are going to feel just like you?
when you put it like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, with your permission, I would like to get it dropped to 400,000 immediately. I mean, I can get it done today, right before the weekend. It's gonna get out there on all of the social media channels as a new attractive price. The marketing is gonna fire back up at 400,000, and we're gonna head into the weekend as if it's a brand new listing. And I really think that's gonna put you in the best position to get out of here with more money in your pocket and get to South Florida as fast as you want. Does that sound good?
Jeff, I trust you. I want to trust you. And I mean, Lee and I are going to have to talk because, I mean, financially, 415 was the lowest we were planning on. Mm-hmm. And right now, I mean, even if you are right, there's just no way we can do that.
Like, no way.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind me asking, when you say there's no way you can do that, is it an affordability thing? Is it a cash position you're in? What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, we have enough in savings that we would be able to make it happen at 415, but just not sure about the 400.
So
I mean, we weren't expecting this at all.
Yeah. So you're taking into consideration, obviously, the equity that you have, plus what you're going to need to put down in the next place, and figuring out your math there. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So does that mean then, if nobody shows up and gives you 415, you're going to cancel the plans to move to South Florida?
Wow. Write that down. So if you can't get what you want, does that mean you're willing to cancel your plans? I mean, seriously, I'm respecting them. I'm asking them some questions about it, but It's, by the way, that's a little bit of a takeaway, but it's the truth. If we can't get this number, is canceling this move an option? That's how serious you have to be with sellers in order to help them understand price. This is as realistic as it gets today. I don't care what market you're in. This is the exact objection, the exact dialogue that's taking place with sellers right now. Study this material. The better you get at helping them understand their home's value, the better you get at getting price reductions, the more listing you're going to take and sell. I can promise you that.
We got it. We're moving, right?
I mean, no, we definitely, I mean, Lee has to be by the beach. So, I mean, if we want to stay married, he has to be by the beach. So,
Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. Is it possible that maybe you could look at sacrificing a few things on the property in South Florida so that way you can get to an attractive price that will allow you to get down there?
I mean, we have a lot to talk about because, yeah, I mean, I suppose we could reconsider. I just feel like this has been 10 days. This is just so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I understand that. And Jackie, do I have your permission to be upfront and honest with you about something?
Sure, please.
It's my job to tell you the truth. You do want the truth, don't you?
Absolutely.
The truth is, the longer your home stays on the market at 425, the less you're going to be able to put in your pocket, because days on market is the enemy to your home's value. Max?
Okay. Do I have your permission to be upfront and honest with you about something? I use that every time when they're getting to the point of like not giving me any sort of reduction and it's not going anywhere. What do you have to lose? You're going to hang on to a listing that's not selling. What's the point? It's only going to cost you time and more money. More open houses, more wasted time spent in this listing that's not going to sell. So I have to be strong and I have to be direct with them. What I have found is when I open the sentence with, do I have your permission to be upfront and honest with you about something? They tend to always say, yes, Jeff, that's what we want. All right. Now I'm transitioning into days on market is the enemy of your home's value script, which if you've been following us for a while, you've probably heard that before. If you've taken Listing Mastery, you've heard it before. In Listing Mastery, we actually cover 10 different pricing handlers. So you get them all, but of course you're getting a handful today for free.
Explain.
Yeah, please.
Please.
So when you bought this house, do you remember ever looking at things like the seller's disclosure report? Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you remember looking at like maybe the history of the listing and trying to do a little bit of research on it before you made your offer?
Yeah.
Yeah. By chance, did you look at all, did you consider at all how long the home had been on the market before you bought it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that of curiosity to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we asked what the price was and how long it had been on the market.
And why was it important for you to know how long the home had been on the market?
Because I think the longer it was on, the better we thought we could negotiate with the seller.
The longer it's on the market, the better of a deal that you can get. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you move to Florida, when you move to South Florida, are you going to do that again? Are you going to look at days on market and maybe consider a lower offer because of the days on market?
Yeah.
Probably.
And don't you feel most buyers are going to think just like you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Got
you
'em.
hired me to tell you the truth, and I would not be doing my job. In fact, Jackie, Lee, I would be doing you an absolute disservice if we kept your home on the market for any more days at this price.
Write that down.
So with your permission, I would like to get it adjusted before the weekend.
I would be doing you an absolute disservice
open
if
that?
I took your listing at that price. Write that one down.
I mean,
I'm sorry, you still there?
yeah. We really need the 415.
Right.
We can't.
Right. I
This
mean,
is common.
we
I
were talking about
often hear the sellers
the
chatting and not
numbers
letting me hear.
that we need, so let them know.
I mean, financially, we planned on 415, Jeff. I don't think right now on the phone we can give you an answer.
Okay. So then, if you don't mind me asking, if I had a buyer, forget about over the phone. If I had a buyer right now, shows up to your front porch, a suitcase full of $400,000 cash, are you telling me you would tell them to get off your porch?
What do you think? Good.
I'm telling you, I use that one all the time.
I mean, we'd have to figure something out.
Yeah, like we would probably have to go into our savings.
Yeah.
And by the way, I heard you mention savings. I know that, this market is not the same as it was 5 years ago, not the same as it was 3 years ago. And you hired me to tell you the truth, to help you accomplish your goal of getting to South Florida with the most amount of money in your pocket. And I'm giving you the advice, while it sounds backwards, to get to South Florida with the most amount of money in your pocket before your listing becomes stale.
Yeah, I can't believe we're losing money on a house. It's just,
That we have to bring money.
It's a
for
different
all the
market,
stuff
isn't
that we
it?
did for us to bring money to the table is
Yeah.
just, I just don't know what to say.
I mean, Jeff, would it make sense that we just adjust to 415 so that we don't have to bring the money to the table?
You could do that.
Just try it?
Yeah, you could certainly do that. And what I think would be happening, Lee and Jackie, is I think you would just end up delaying the inevitable. And in 10 days, in 15 days, we'd wind up back in this same spot. And what I'm concerned about is with what's happening in the market right now, what I'm concerned about is in 10, 15 days at 415, 400 may not be an option anymore. Because now the home's been on the market for 30 days, and it looks like just a small drop from 415 to 400, and that is not going to be an attractive drop for buyers in the market today. My job is to make it attractive so that way it draws attention and causes someone to say, we need to go make an offer on this property before somebody else buys it up. So I would not do that. I think that actually puts you in a worse position. And I appreciate the question. I've seen this a lot.
I mean, this would get us the offer that then would allow us to move forward to South Florida. So what do you think?
I mean, based on what I'm looking at, if we go to the 400, we're going to have to bring 15 to 17K to the table.
Right.
But Jeff, I mean, if you think that's what we need to do, we'll have to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Listen, at the end of the day, I want you to be at a closing table, shaking hands with the buyers, excited about your plans and the amount of money that you put in your pocket. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I let you hang up without making this adjustment. So with your permission, I would like to make the adjustment by the end of the day today. Will you grant me that permission?
That's how you close for the reduction.
I mean, I don't think we have a choice.
We don't.
babe.
Let's
Okay.
get to South Florida. Yeah, Jeff, let's do it.
Okay, hold on a second. Step out of the role play. Tell me we're not ready to do it. 415 is low, so we can go right now.
All right,
Here's
Jeff.
how you handle
Well,
it
look,
if they
we
just
looked
won't
at
give you the
401k,
reduction, right?
Yep.
Looked at what we need to bring to the table, and no,
just not gonna do it.
No, we're
Okay.
10 days on the market, Jeff. 415.
Yeah. So you're saying right now you're willing to grant me a reduction to 415,000, but no lower than that. Is that what
Right,
I'm
that's
hearing?
Yeah.
$10,000. Yeah.
This is how you turn down a reduction.
All right. Here's what I'm going to do if it's all right with you guys. I'm going to respectfully decline that reduction, and I'm going to ask you to take the night to sleep on it, because going to 415 is just delaying the inevitable, and I know we're going to be in a worse situation 10 to 14 days from now if we don't get it down to 400,000 now. So what I'm asking at this point is we're going to leave everything where it's at. I want you to just take the night to talk about it, to sleep on it, and I'm going to follow up with you in the morning. And at that point in time, let's not forget, this is your house. At that point in time, if you tell me 415 is all we can do, I'll do it.
Okay.
Or you may say, let's get to 400 so we can get to South Florida faster. I'll do that. But I don't want to do anything right now until you guys have had more time to chat about it. Is that fair?
That's absolutely
Yeah.
fair, and we can crunch some numbers ourselves. And you
Yeah.
said we'll talk tomorrow?
Yep, I'll give you a call back late tomorrow morning or early afternoon. So that way you guys have plenty of time, okay?
Sounds good. Jeff,
So-
we really appreciate the time. Thank you for
Listen,
for
I
giving
wish
us
I
that
had better
space.
news for you. And the good news is we had 6 people interested. The better news is I might be able to get some of them back here if we make an adjustment soon. So let's chat tomorrow, and you guys have a good night, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
So then we call
Yep.
back.
Okay, thank you.
Don't accept the number they're going to give you.
Hello?
Hi, Lee.
Jeff, how's it going?
Good, real good. I know you guys had a chance to talk, I'm sure, and I don't know if Jackie's there with you or not, but...
I am. I'm here.
Oh, good. Hey, Jackie, how are you? If you don't mind me asking, what are some things that you worked through last night after we got off the phone?
Well, we talked about what we want to accomplish, and really we definitely don't want to stay in Michigan. We need to be in Florida. We definitely want to be there, on the timeline that we talked about.
Yeah.
So, and we trust you. I mean, if you think that 400 is where we need to be, but we cannot take a penny less than 400, because at the 400 we're actually going to have to withdraw from the 401k, which is not something that we...
I hate
So
hearing
now that they're giving me the
And I know
reduction,
at the end of the day,
I'm going to have to give them some hope.
when you're
Watch
down
how I do
there
this.
sipping Mai Tais or rum runners or whatever you guys do in South Florida, you probably won't be thinking about leaving a few bucks on the table when it's the middle of winter here in Michigan, will you?
Yeah.
For sure.
So, yeah, if you can also just run us a new net sheet just so we know exactly where we're at, especially if you think this is going to help us, get an offer. We really need to know exactly where we sit.
Absolutely. I'm going to get it adjusted right away. We're going to restart all the marketing and get the word out about the new price. I'm very confident this is not only going to put more money in your pocket, but it's going to help you get to South Florida faster. Does that sound good?
It sounds good, Jeff. What should we expect next, though?
I'm sorry?
So you're going to adjust the price?
Oh, yeah.
What's the kind of the next step for us?
Lee, I want you to understand, we're doing everything to sell your home that we did for the other 8 listings that we've sold since we've listed your property. So what will happen next is more showings. More showings should lead to offers, and those offers should lead to an accepted sale. Does that sound fair?
Sounds good to us.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, we'll get it taken care of right away. Thank you, guys. I look forward to getting this sold once and for all for you, okay?
Amen.
Sounds
All right,
good.
thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to stop it there because here's what I know. If you want to be a strong listing agent, you're going to have to get skilled in the area of presenting price and getting reductions, because sellers today do more research on realtors than they've ever done before. And so my concern is if you're out there taking listings that aren't selling, that's hurting your reputation with getting future listings. And so if you've made it to this point in the webinar, by now you've seen the 6 steps that I'm using to nail a listing appointment. You've also seen exactly the dialogue that's used to get a listing priced right and to get a reduction. You'll have a chance to go back and rewatch this. I hope you write out some of those scripts that you didn't get a chance to write out. I hope that you chant them. I hope that you role play them, because those are all the things that I've had to do to get really good at this stuff. All right. So now here's the good news. If you have made it this far and you say, you know what, I would love to be coached by this Jeff Glover guy. All right. I will tell you this. My schedule is completely full as it relates to coaching one-on-one clients. All right. So there are no one-on-one options of coaching with me. However, there's exactly one program that I teach, and that is the Listing Mastery Program. It is the original program of Glover U. And here's the best part. It gets an update every single time we run it. In fact, this time it's actually received 50% of an update because the market has changed. And so they'll get it on the screen there in a second, or you should be able to see it. You've got the flyer in front of you. That's what it entails. 16 weeks with me in a group setting. All right. We don't allow more than 75 people in the course. And the reason why we do that is because we want you to be able to interact with me. It's 45 minutes of instruction, 16 weeks, once a week, of everything start to finish, and then 15 minutes of that 1 hour Zoom is Q&A, where we actually have some discussion around what I covered or things that you're implementing to become your own listing master in your market. This is everything listing from start to finish. Everything from the lead generation, the lead conversion, the lead follow-up, the pre-appointment process, the appointment itself from start to finish, the pricing presentation, the price reduction, everything. How do we get more listings for every listing that we take? How do you implement our Plax model on the listing side? Every single detail to become a strong listing agent. And this is only for those that say, you know what, If you want to take just a handful more listings between now and the end of the year, it's probably not for you. But if you want to take a listing a month, an extra 2 listings per month, 5 listings per month, this is exactly how we're taking 75 to 85. And forget about what our team does for a second. When you hear those numbers, I know you might think, well, Jeff, that's not realistic for me. I'm just a solo producer, or I'm an agent on a team, or whatever. Okay, fine. Then it's what I'm doing to take 7 to 10 per month. And if you're not taking 7 to 10 per month, then I would suggest you join me in Listing Mastery. If you're interested, just text the word listing. Is it listing? Sorry. Yes. Text the word, I thought it was sellers for a second. Text the word listing to 55444. They'll put it in the chat. The word listing, one word, simple as that. Pull out your cell phones, open up your text messages, and that way you'll at least get the flyer with all the details. You don't have to decide right this second, but you do need to decide before next Monday, because next Monday the program begins. All right, so text the word listing to 55444. Again, we cap the attendance at no more than 75, so that way you have a chance to interact with me on the listing side. You're going to get not just my listing plan, you're going to get all of the playbooks. Every source of business. How do we get listings from our database? How do we master expireds? How do we master for sale by owners? How do we get listings from internet leads? How do we get listings from social media? Every single source, we go into deep detail. This is the program. This is the only program of our group programs where every single week is about taking more listings and getting them sold. The other programs touch on it. Don't get me wrong. Prospecting Bootcamp, they talk about how to prospect for listings. Systems of Real Estate, they talk about some of our listing systems. This is the only program where for 16 weeks we cover everything sellers, and you get to learn from me for all 16 sessions in a live setting with up to 75 other students that you will now have access to a Facebook group where you'll find role play partners, people implementing the pre-appointment package, sharing their pre-appointment packages back and forth for different ideas. Anyways, if you want to join me, we start next week. Text the word listing to 55444. For those of you that are watching the replay, you can do the same thing right now. It'll work. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. If you're in Canada, you can email us at info@gloveru.com or just go on the GloverU website. All right, we've got one more webinar left. It's tomorrow, same place, same time. We're talking recruiting, producing agents tomorrow at noon Eastern. Otherwise, if I don't see you then, I'll see you next week in the new and improved Listing Mastery. Now go take a listing. See you guys.